What is up, everybody? Man, I feel alive today. Holy smokes, you guys. A lot going on. Um, it's insane, man. I mean, every day is a good day to be alive, and every day is a good day to thank God to be alive and to love those around you. Tell them that you love them and that you appreciate them and just being grateful for every moment that we have on this earth because tomorrow is never promised, and that's why they call today a gift. So you guys, I love you guys so much, all of you. Okay, whether you're new, old, whether you're part of the actual members, team, whether you are a mod. I mean, I definitely love and appreciate my mods and my wife who's hiding in the chat. Maybe one day some people have been saying we got to get her on a members only live. Uh, keep putting that in the chat. Keep putting that out there. Maybe one day, enough pressure will build and she'll agree. She's nervous to get on. She'll be like on here. She's afraid she's going to be like, and we take the trips and then we take the trips. It's a joke. It's an inside joke from Four Christmases. You got to laugh. You got to laugh sometimes. You always got to be ready and willing to laugh at yourself as well, because you know what? That's just part of the game, man. People are going to make fun of you. Candace and Charlie said that was like the biggest form of flattery. Erika couldn't take a page out of Charlie's book. She supposedly has his journal, literally has his book, but she couldn't take just one page out of his book and just do one thing in keeping with Charlie. Like, holy smokes, that chick is out to lunch. Oh my goodness. All right, you guys, we're going to get into some good stuff today. As you guys come in, please do me a favor, hit the like and the subscribe. And I did say please. All right. And I always say thank you. My mom raised me to have manners. Please and thank you. All right. I appreciate you guys. I'm telling you, I'm feeling alive today. When you take one day off of this, for me, because it's still so new to me, 3 months now, being on this side of a camera and talking into a mic, taking one day off throws you out of it, man. What was it? Yes, is today Tuesday? Happy Tuesday. Yeah. Taco Tuesday. Is anyone having tacos today for dinner? Yesterday, after taking Sunday off, because I literally was weed whacking all day. Holy smokes. It was ridiculous, but I was exhausted. But coming back on Monday, it felt like I hadn't done this in like weeks or months or years, because I was prepping for Monday's show, and right before I went live, I got nervous. I had butterflies, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? I don't know. Can I do this? And then I did it, and it was okay. Sometimes you got to do things you're nervous about, I guess. I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, all right. Thank you. We got everyone here. Thank you, all the mods. Love you guys. Thank you for the love and support. Have you guys tested out the new Mikey emoji and the new Erika Kirk emoji? We'll have to cycle them, mods, because it gives you a max of 17 that you're allowed to do. And because I have such good mods, no other channel does this, by the way. No other channel has mods like this channel that on their own does crazy, amazing things. Like Crystal made 2 potential opening songs to use instead of that generic, countdown that everyone's sending me. Like, hey, you got to cut that out of your opener. It's like, I know, I know, I can't. When I go to edit in post, first you have to like wait for it to process and like before you can like edit it, which is like time. And by the time I'm done, it's like 9. I don't eat dinner until after the show, and I go down, and anyways, whatever. I don't have time to do it after. So later, like the next day, if I try to go do it, it's 60 seconds I'm trying to cut. And the stupid thing, it's not big, it's not small enough, like fine enough, that it's like I'd end up cutting out like my first couple words. I tried to do it with the Jay Yapper one, and it like cuts out like a couple seconds into like me saying like, what is up, everyone? And it's just like me, like, everyone. And so I was like, man, I'm not gonna, you know. So it is gonna be the way it is until we get this custom opener to put in place of that generic opener. Okay. But I am aware and I do appreciate all your guys' assistance and heads up, like, hey, Baron said it hurts the algorithm or distribution. It hurts distribution to have that. Thank you for that. I didn't know that until you guys said that. However, like, how does it hurt distribution? Because like, don't most people just like when Baron had that, or like when I'd go back and watch one of mine to make sure like it was okay, I would just fast forward that 60 seconds. You know, you can just hit the button and it fast forwards like 10 seconds. You just do that 6 times and it jumps ahead. But I still take him at his word. It hurts distribution. Crystal Smolin is one of our mods and she's big on X. If you guys don't know her, follow her on X and Instagram. Okay. But she put together 2 custom made opener songs. And then we're going to like add in a video. The one that she did. Oh, hey, how funny. Crystal, look at, I'm wearing the sweater. The clip that she used of me to create it, I was wearing the sweater and it's like me in like cowboy, like I go from here, like in front of the camera, and then I like stand up and I put on a cowboy hat and I have like slacks and stuff. It's funny. It's good. We're going to get it dialed in. There's a part though where that version of me, that AI version of me is like this. And he's like singing with his like no lip and his teeth. And I was like, what happened to my lip? That's crazy. But we're going to get that. Thanks to Crystal. And then thanks to like Glenn Coco and Jim Bear and oh my gosh, Mystic for getting these emojis, these custom emojis that are just freaking hilarious. We'll have to cycle through them, like I said, because there's like 17 max. And there's more I have that they sent me, but I can't, you know, we'll have to take some ones out. So maybe you guys go in there and we vote on which ones we like and we want to keep and which ones we can get rid of. And I can add these other ones that I have waiting in the wings. All right. Blah. That is my longest opener I've ever done. I apologize. Let's freaking get into this. All right. In keeping with the last few days, look, guys, and I'm not, look, one of the things I really want to drill down is, and I'm not the only one, like Zach Costello, Blake Bednar's, we want to focus on, with many other things that they both focus on as well. But one of the things is focusing on the events of the day at UVU, right? The security team, Terrell Farnsworth, their behavior at UVU. Was it really anomalous? Like, was it really outliers? Like, is this typical? Is it common? Is the setup common where they had the AV soundboard, Terrell being there, you know, Brian Harple being in the front right, Dan Flood being in the back right, where the cameras are, all those little things was it truly unique to that day? And, you know, I wish I could say yes, 100%. But you guys, the more videos I look at, the more I'm seeing behavior similar to what we saw that day. I will say this, that the majority, so like 90%, right? At least 90% of the time, the soundboard, the AV guy, Philip Goldsberry, whatever, Goldsboro, whatever, gold member, was on the right-hand side, okay? He normally, with his equipment, he's on the right-hand side, correct. And normally, Dan Flood is on the back left, normally, 90% of the time. But there are a couple events where I see it set up like it is at UVU. And like I kind of laid out yesterday, there are these variables that probably determine whether they can set up the AV equipment, right? The extension cords, the plugs, on the right or the left side. It probably has to do with entry and egress, you know, like I always mix up entry and egress. Egress is leaving, right? Am I mixing that up? Am I having an ADHD moment? And anyways, it has to do with the security plan, size of the open venue where they're at, like where are the known and unknown people like corralled? Are there any back behind us? Where's the closest outlet and plugs? Is it on solid ground, concrete? Is it on grass? There's all these different variables, I think, that kind of dictate and determine where all that is set up. But for the majority of the time, Philip is on the right, Dan is in the back left. So yes, in that sense, in that regard, UVU is a little different, but I have found a couple. I mean, out of a couple hundred, I found a couple. So I mean, it is rare. It's not typical. So I mean, there is that. And then is the behavior that Brian Harple did that day truly unique? With his hands underneath, double hands underneath like this. Is that really that weird? And honestly, man, I wish I could say it was. Because honestly, regardless if this is different from that day or not, I still think what we saw at UVU points to the security team, whether that be all of them or just some of them being involved, right? Like Rick Cutler, Dan Flood, Brian Harple, at least them, okay? And then Terrell Farnsworth and Phillips, Mikey McCoy, Blake Neff, because I still think that they're involved, even if we find things that point to that behavior at UVU isn't actually that different from other events. Okay. So I'm not putting this out there saying like this exonerates them. No. I'm just saying we're going to look at it. We have seen, and we're going to see it, behavior similar at other events. Okay. All right, let's get into it. All right. Right out the gate. Who do we got there? We got Brian Harple, and he is standing how he was standing that. And this might even be the same shirt. Let's see. Let me go to, I know it's not pulled up yet. Hold on. Let me go to my bookmarks. Let me go down here, pause. Where do we see Brian? All right. It may not be the exact same shirt. All right. It may not be the exact same shirt, but it's a similar shirt, right? It's a similar shirt. Am I sharing? Come on. Yeah, I'm sharing. I got to catch up. There we go. I was behind on that other one. Okay. So similar, not the same. Okay, fine, whatever. Let's get back to this. But he is standing with both hands under his biceps.
It's the diversity of across the country. Now, I find it really hard to agree.
I couldn't see his left hand on the other one. There's multiple times. So he fluctuates, you guys. I guess I should say that. Or fluctuates. He rotates from typical one hand on top, one hand underneath. And then he does do double hands underneath at different times. He does. And so we'll keep looking at it. And the only reason why Brian is here right now, Dan Flood's been standing here the whole event. Okay. You could see down in the bottom. I don't want to lose my spot, but Dan probably had to go take, a restroom break, right? They're standing here for this event is 2 hours and 15 minutes and 29 seconds. I'm sure Dan had to go use the little boys' room. Okay.
I find it really hard to agree that with Elon Musk about cutting, I believe it was 5,000 federal park workers whenever there are only 12,000 workers and they're already understaffed. And Yellowstone has over 1 million acres of land to care for. I feel like it's doing so.
And because him and Dan insist on wearing shirts that are one size too small. I don't know what that's about. And the pants are wicked tight too, man. I mean, all right, to each his own. My wife does like me in tight jeans. I don't, but she does. Anywho, that's a side note, too much. But he does pull down on his shirt. He tugs down on his shirt often. There might always be some stuff underneath there, and maybe or he doesn't want us to see his little belly. You know, he's like, "Oh, don't show my belly. I'm on camera." And he tugs it down all the time.
Such a disservice to one of the greatest parts of our
Oh, you
country
know what?
to
Man, I really don't want to give people airtime. Let's see. We'll get right into this one. Share ice click. Thank you for being live. I needed something good to watch. Was listening to Jesse live with two others, and they're all CK is alive people. This is a perfect segue. How did you read my mind? Okay, people, and I was going crazy. Names. Oh, name's Charisse, not Share Ice. Okay. I'm sorry, Charisse. I'm sorry. Charisse, is it Click? Charisse Click or Charisse C Lick? I don't, man, this is the danger. This is the danger, the risk I pose to the public when I have to use my brain to try to figure out people's handles pronouncement properly. This is what happens. Okay. Maybe people need to put in the comment like the phonetic way to sound it out with like the little dashes in between, like Charisse. No, I'm just kidding. No one needs to do that. I just might butcher it from time to time, and it's not intentional. Look, all right. So what I was about to say is I don't really want to give certain people airtime, energy, and in fact, I think that these three people in particular I think at this point are doing things to egg me on to like gain a response because the last time I did a breakdown of their field test, right? And in fact, I really do think it was destroyed. I destroyed it, but whatever. They think they proved it, right? They've solved the case. Give me a break, dude. They after I did that, they like did this whole thing on X for like days, and it's like, man, I'm not trying. I don't go to their channels and like watch them and comment, and I'm not active in anyone's chat. I don't leave comments on their videos. I don't want a back and forth, right? I'm just pointing out where clearly there's people lying and being dishonest intentionally because like here, just a quick example. Man, there's no way for me to say it without saying people's names. Okay, for those of you that watched the show, the dude that was in the middle, the show that you just referenced, Charisse Click, the dude that was in the middle wearing the suit, that guy said that things that were weird about this whole thing in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination, which point to it being faked. One of the examples they gave was that Erika Kirk invoked her right to a speedy trial and that is not a victim's right. Well, guess what? Everyone has access to Google, AI, ChatGPT, and Grok. And guess what took me all of 5 seconds to find out that in the 1980s, something like the Marcy Act began this movement. States started adding amendments to allow victims right to a speedy trial. And Utah did theirs in 1994. They enacted theirs in 1994. Many started in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and some are still doing it. We're in like the 20 to 30 state range that have this amendment, which allow victims the right to, request for a speedy trial. And they said that Erika doing this is not even a victim's right, and that this points to this being one more piece of evidence of it being faked. No, all they had to do was Google and find out that it's actually since the 1980s, states started adding this in their amendments, and Utah's one of them. And yeah, so, and then another one where they're, easily disproved theory. Charlie wasn't wearing a fat suit. Go watch the video on X, right? They see his shirt pull up all the way. You see his actual stomach. There's no fat suit underneath. Number two, he's not wearing a prosthetic. You can find thousands of pictures of Charlie over the years engaging in his tick. It's on his left side that pulls on his cheek, lip, chin, and lower neck. That's what was happening there. And number two, and the reason why I brought this up was because Charlie has this thing. He has a different gum setup, and his teeth are smaller, and he has He has big gums. Like you end up seeing more of his gums than his teeth because his teeth are kind of smaller. I don't know if he would grind his teeth at night, but they're smaller. Anyways, when he would smile, it would pull on his upper lip and create this crease, like this fold. Okay. And they had these pictures like pulled up and they were saying like, see, this proves he was wearing a total face prosthetic. Right. And they cite bogus anomalous sources like doctors, I guess, and makeup artists and stuff that, oh, they all said there's no way that anything naturally and, anatomically can explain us seeing this. All you'd have to do is go watch old material of Charlie if you wanted the truth, and you would see that when he does certain things with his mouth, it creases the lip. And it brought it up because I saw it happen just there, and I'll rewind it in a second and we'll go look at it and you'll see it. So, truth is not the goal with certain people. Okay. All right. Let's see. Sonia Moore. Remaining questions. Number 1. Has Harpool, it's Harpole, like har and then a pole. But anyways, Harpool. I like it. We should call him Harpool. Has Harpool accepted mints before? So here, let me finish reading. Number 2. Has Dan Flood ever given the signal to steal third? 3. Has the microphone ever had major feedback like 910? These are great questions, and these are the questions I would love people to throw up in the super chats for me to answer, because honestly, I do think I'm in a unique position to answer some of these, because out of a lot of the people that may be in this space and be on here, at least to the fake squibbers and the Charlie's Alive, none of them followed Charlie before. They never watched him. Thousands of hours, all of his stuff. And they haven't done so since the assassination, okay? So they're coming in after the fact, and they are espousing to know things that they just have no basis and knowledge to say that at all, okay? Number 1, no one, we don't see mints, number 1. So we don't know that they're mints. He says they're mints, right? In the interview, right? So we kind of have to take him at his word for it. And then the memes went wild online, right? And people did funny videos of him and mints, right? That could be just a total like BS, story that he said to try to, explain behavior that's otherwise suspicious. We don't know that she handed him mints. We don't see what's in the hand, okay? Has people come up and handed him things? Well, here's the thing. 90% of the time, Brian Harpole is not on camera, okay? And I've explained this before. What's different about UVU, the video that we see, the UVU review video that Blake Bednar's literally got to all of us because because UVU freaking killed that video, okay, and was never going to let it out. They either sold rights to it or they gave it to the BBC and either CBS or CNN. They gave it to 2 outlets. Those 2 outlets only showed like a small portion of the video, nothing in full. Okay. If it wasn't for Blake, we wouldn't have that video. But aside from that, all other previous past events, we don't have anyone else's long form video from a distance showing the whole stage and everyone. Okay. All we have to look back on is TPUSA's edited videos that they've uploaded to the Charlie Kirk YouTube channel. And it's after they've edited it, right? And so what you'll see is they cut the screen in half and they put Charlie on the left and then they put the student on the right. Sometimes in between speakers, they'll cut to the shot from behind and show the whole audience and from behind Charlie looking out. But 90% of the time, all we really get to see is Charlie and Dan Flood, whoever's standing to the back left of Charlie, right? Because that's the angle typically that the camera is facing. Typically, the camera's the front right. At UVU, it was the front left. And so that video would pick up Dan as well, okay? It'd be facing here, and that video would show everything. We would have the smoking gun. We would know everything, okay? But we don't have a lot of video evidence of Brian Harpole. If you guys want to join the team, start going through the archive footage of Charlie in every event. Don't watch the clipped shots. They're like 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. You got to find the full form ones. which will show different, like the different angles. And if you find something with Brian Hartpole and you see him being handed something or him handing someone something, send it to me with a timestamp and I'll look at it. I'm doing it, but there's thousands of hours of footage from his campus events. But I have found him doing things similar to what he did at UVU. I haven't seen anyone come up and hand him anything yet, or him go in his bag yet. Okay. Number two, has Dan Flood given the signal? He's given the signal one other time. Okay. And he gave the signal on the one other, not one other time, but the time that he was standing to the back left of Charlie, and they're talking. Charlie started talking about signals for like teams, like sports teams, like baseball or football, and talking about signals, right? And Dan Flood looks what we think, and I think it's a Texas A&M or it's a University of Texas. I'm pretty sure it's a Texas event. I need to go back and find it. Okay. He laughs. Dan Flood laughs when Charlie's talking about signals. He laughs, and then he does the arm signal when looking at probably another security team member, and like laughs about it. It happens very quickly. That's the only other time we ever see him do that signal. The only other time. Okay. Yeah, that's the other thing they said tonight. They were saying those people, the Charlie's Alive people, were saying that this is some sort of like Nazi salute. Okay. What they've, do you guys remember doing this as a kid? I mean, if you were a bad kid, like the universal signal for sign language. It's not sign language, I know, but signal for like FU, where you put your hand in the middle of your arm and then you lift it up. They're also trying to say, and they played like soccer players doing this, and that this somehow is like the old, it was so ridiculous. I don't know how that ties into, because supposedly it was Dan Flood's signal to Philly saying F you to Philly. Yeah, stupid, but he did the signal one other time. All right, next one we have, has the microphone ever had major feedback issues like at 910 at UVU? No, not that I have found yet. And I'll show you guys, and I showed last night. I recommend, if you weren't here last night, Sonia, go back and look at yesterday's. Charlie always held the mic close to him. He typically had it in his right hand, and he would always put it down in his crotch, in his lap, in between his exchange, his volley between him and the speaker. He rarely put it down on the table like he did at UVU, like he was instructed to do at UVU. I never have seen anyone come up to him telling him to switch and put it on that side of the table. He would put it down on the table periodically when he would take a sip of his tea or water, or when he would put in one of his throat coats. But then he would pick it up, and the majority of the time he would hold it close to the mic and then set it in his lap. Never have I heard any other major feedback issues like we did at UVU. I did find an event. Terrell Farnsworth is at the event. It's an older event, but he's there, which is interesting. All right, let me go. I got one more, and then let's get back to, we got Sonia again. We got Laugh Out Loud. I knew I was spelling it wrong, but couldn't remember how to spell it, so I went phonetically. What did you spell? Where? What did you spell? Harpool. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I think at the beginning I did the same thing, so you're all good. What do we got? Hopefully we don't have a bunch of trolls showing up tonight. I just have a feeling we're going to get some troll action tonight, because I just have a feeling part of why they did what they did is to, get me to, I'm not going to do it. I'm not playing any of their video. All right, let's get back to it.
Get rid of these people's livelihoods who take care of these places we love so much.
It's a good argument. I'm sympathetic towards it. However, bankruptcy. So I just want you to.
So I also want to get to the point where we see Brian Hartpole's arms crossed in full. It's cut out. And this is what I mean. This type of video, edited, this is all we end up getting from TPUSA. If there's other footage out there from previous events that a private citizen has, or some sort of news outlet or a school newspaper from a previous event, I know that me and Zach and probably Blake are trying to find if any exist to compare to the UVU video. I haven't found one yet.
Understand from our perspective that nobody should be necessarily off limits
His hands are under both. So his hand his right hand underneath is in a fist, and his left hand goes through and just kind of hangs there, and you see the fingers. But his right hand on the other side is in a fist, and that is what we saw that day at UVU. So I'm just saying,
getting us towards a balanced budget.
I do understand that, but I think that it also sends a message that we as a country, or at least the
contracts to go do necessary things for the space fight. Now, I totally agree that there should probably be an independent review board. He's very close to the president.
Dan Flood comes back, probably went to the bathroom. And
we got to be close to make sure there's no corruption there.
Okay. And so you can see Dan Flood right behind, and Mikey McCoy's right there as well. And then, Brian Harpo leaves, and then Dan Flood takes his spot.
My name is Danielle Adamo. I'm a freshman.
Oh, that could have been something else they were doing. They could have been working with the local police. It looks like they're looking in the crowd, up at the students, and they're communicating, and the cop is looking. So that also could be why Dan stepped away for a bit, or to use the bathroom, the little girl's room. And then there's Mikey.
For your time.
Okay,
I'd like to talk to Johnny Depp here. No.
You know what was funny, you guys? I'll play it. I got a lot tonight. We're gonna be here a minute, so get comfortable, all right? But it's gonna be a good night, dude. So supposedly, we're supposed to believe that at UVU, when literal shots were fired, supposedly, right, or at the very least, an explosion went off, but literally Charlie was assassinated and died. That supposedly that day, Mikey was a general. He was brave under fire, courage under fire, valiant behavior. They got to give him a medal. Andrew retells the story of the White House Correspondents' event, and is like, he had to check on Mikey. He was worried about Erika and Mikey. Why would you? Mikey's a grown man. Why are you worried about Mikey McCoy? He's a freaking general, man. He's been to Nam. I mean, did you not know? Frank Turek said he was the bravest dude that day, commanding the field like a general. He was like, you, do nothing. I'm going to call three-way, not Erika, my wife first. Then I'm going to call my dad, tell him to pray for everyone. That's what he did. And then I think he went to Target and got some underwear and socks for Turek later down in Salt Lake City. Oh, he supposedly called and scheduled some planes, but we know Justin Strife actually did that. So what did Mikey do? I don't know. Nothing courageous. I'll tell you that much. Nothing courageous. All right, here we get a side shot view. And this is Blake, a security team member. Sorry, Mikey. Oh, wait, hey, Mystic. I'm guessing everything is good. Is the audio and video good? Usually that comes out. I get that text in the beginning. Is the audio and video good? Oh, this guy's hilarious. He trolls a bit, but hold on. I want to I'm not watching this for the students. We're just looking at security team members' behavior. Also, this isn't actually that old of a clip. He's wearing his Charlie is wearing his signet ring, and he's got the same mic, microphone connection that he did at UVU. It's on the same side. It pulls on the shirt. Today, this event, he's wearing a long sleeve shirt, which is thicker, so it holds it up a little bit better. But the other events where he's just wearing a regular T-shirt, it pulls on it more, like UVU, and it gives it that weird look. But the way it was mounted at UVU is not weird. It's not abnormal, and there's actually nothing different. But you can see in between, Charlie puts the mic in between his lap. There's no feedback issues. See this mic here with the windsock on it that the young boy is talking into? This is the recording for the live. For this feed that we're watching. That's what we're hearing. This big mic and that big mic that Charlie's holding is for the crowd there, okay, in-person crowd. But these mics, this one with the windsock and this one on Charlie, that's for the recording, right? This is the one that Charlie used to wear on him. And that windsock used to point out on the inside of his collar right there, okay? Oh, that was the other thing I was going to show. Where was it? Where he does that with his lip. It's on this video. And you can
has an emphasis on things that the Bible does not categorize as
I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch
important.
it. Oh, why did it do that?
In fact, it says the exact opposite, that we should only care about character.
So also, Charlie has a very thin upper lip, right? It's not very full. It's not very thick. And let's see if I can catch him in a moment where it is. And he has these moments where when it's above and it's pushing open on his gums, you have this little fold. That's all I was pointing out from
Friedrich Nietzsche.
These other people
used
where
to
they're
say
trying
that
to
every
say like,
society,
oh, that proves he was wearing a full prosthetic head, or something. I'm freaking prosthetic is what they were saying.
Law. That's not how it's been. Do you think that would be productive for American society?
Hold on. That's the interpretation of the 14th Amendment. We're talking about two different things. We're talking about birthright citizenship, and then we're talking about kids that are crossed when they're already born. The point being is this. And
you see him when he inhales, he does his tick a lot. He goes, that's a normal tick that he does all the time. Okay. And if people wanted to be, consistent and honest, then they would report on that and not act like that day at UVU when they have that one still photo of him engaged in his tick, the Charles McClintock Wilson photos, like that proves that he was wearing some sort of prosthetic on his neck. And it doesn't. It just doesn't, which is just shows you how inconsistent and dishonest a lot of these people on that side of the argument are.
This audience, that's all that's here today, okay? That's all that's here. But back to you.
Oh, hold on. All right, let's go to the next one. All right. We'll get there in a minute. Let's see. That one, I actually want to show you the clip of what he says. Same with that one. That one. Here we go. All right, here. We got this. Come on, make it big. All right, perfect. All right, this one, let's see. You see Brian? See Brian's behind Charlie. So this shirt is so like thin in its, I don't know how it's manufactured, that the mic pulls down on the shirt so much that you can see his collar, right? It's pulled it down to this right side and it's hanging down. All right, Brian Harple is right here and he has his hands under his arms like he did that day.
You were getting fired up there.
Yes, I was, because, okay, I just want to start this out. I am unaffiliated, but I am a Christian who believes in the right to an abortion.
And that lady's a known. I think that even may be Mint Lady. That supposedly, that brings something to Brian that day.
If you feel that's what you need to do, then you should do it. Because Matthew 7:1 says, do not judge or you too will be. And then another thing that I wanted to bring up.
I will say this to you guys. 90% of the campus events that I've seen where Brian Harple is captured in the video, he is in the back left. So you have Dan Flood, then you have Brian Harple, and Brian Harple is always covering Charlie 6. The back left quadrant is his area of responsibility. Only a couple times he'll come up and he'll cover for Dan. He's kind of a floater in that regard. I think like he fills in for other members when needed, but his like main consistent post where he stands is the back left behind Dan Flood, and he's looking back in the back. But because UVU had that whole back area closed off to the public, maybe that area didn't need any security team members back there. I know there were others back there. But for whatever reason at UVU, Brian Harple's in the front right. I've never found another video where Brian is in the front anywhere for the main, part of the time at the event, and never in the front right. I've never found one yet. He fills in for people at times in the front, only for a minute, and then he goes back to his spot back there. So I just want to point that out. Look, guys, if I didn't say that in the beginning, please, as you guys come in, hit the like and the subscribe. It's how you can help the channel. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's get back to it. Wait, did I miss? April, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Welcome to the team. All right, let's get back to this video.
This is crazy.
That's another thing. They say that Charlie itching his nose that day at UVU is a signal that it starts off the signals for everyone. Nope, it was hot, and he itches his nose all the time. He does this, he does this, he does this, and that's what Charlie does. Okay, you watch enough hours of him at campus events, you will see that as a consistent thing Charlie does.
But also the time. I just really want to know why you feel that abortion should be illegal.
Do you think murder should be illegal?
For Brian's
It doesn't, but it's simply about.
He'll go out
By
of
definition
view,
means it remains
and he comes
permanent,
back.
Oh, okay.
right?
Oh, okay.
So an attachment is something that is temporary. And so it's not, you are not your mom's DNA. You're not your dad's DNA. You are new deoxyribonucleic.
Here's a good.
If I say that we will allow
There he
abortion,
is with his hand underneath in a fist, like he did that day at UVU. So, like I said, I'm not looking to exonerate the security team. I'm not. Okay, we're good. Yes, audio's good. Okay, cool. But I'm just pointing out what I've seen so far in the videos that I've gone back and looked at from other events. Okay.
abortions to continue for rape and incest life of the mother, but all other abortions should be illegal, which is 99.4% of the time. Can we make those 99% of abortions illegal?
We should.
Yeah, see, I don't believe that abortion should be used as a form of birth
So
control.
99% of the time it is.
It
That's
is.
all that we're debating.
Yeah.
Mother
90%
who
of the
has
time
to
it is.
carry the baby and who has to push it.
Well, hold on. Let's
you know?
play that out. So even though the mom has to push it, do you still have a right to terminate somebody?
It happens so fast, you guys, but when he does that thing with his lip, you can see that it does make this little fold on the top. I'm not able to catch it in real time.
Can you take away human rights if your life's going to get difficult to somebody else?
No.
If somebody else is making your life difficult, can you take away their human rights?
No.
No, but at the same time, that's like.
Wait, how do you say no but? How do you say no but to that question? Even Charlie's like, yeah, okay. You said but.
That's where like the question comes in, that it should be up between the person, like the.
But why? By what
patient and their
standard is that
doctor.
okay? For example, if a single mom has 2 kids and all of a sudden she loses her job and one of the kids is super annoying and has a learning disability, should she be able to murder that kid?
No.
Because it's an inconvenience to her.
Nope.
No.
No, of course not.
Yeah, and so at least she answered that correctly. But a lot of the time, what happens is Charlie will ask a question that gets right to it. And the student knows by answering it honestly, it points out the hypocrisy and the insanity with their position. And even though they know it's the right answer and that they should give it to be, consistent, they don't. Thank God she did, though.
Not after, like.
But why is it that all of a sudden you get considered a human? Let's be clear. There's a mental toll when you have an abortion
I'm
too.
hopping through because right now we're looking at Dan Flood and we're looking at Brian Harple. That's why we're watching this, okay? And we're looking at that Charlie's body language is his movement, how he sits, how he moves with the mic. Is there any audio feedback issues? We're comparing to the UVU event.
So it's not as if it's a get out of free jail
No,
card.
I completely understand.
So
that.
it's a tough, difficult, horrible
Yeah.
situation. But shouldn't we be that the worst outcome after an evil is to just murder? The question was if
is below 10.
Mikey Mikey is at all the events. I've seen him at every one so far, and he does hang out in that back left and walk around. I've never seen him turn and walk away like that. Obviously, no one was ever assassinated, like what happened at UVU. But yeah. All right, so that's that one. Let's go to the next one. This one's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what I found. Let me get rid of the ones so that I'm not losing track of everything. All right. Here it is. Look what I found. Okay. And this is an older event, right? You could even just tell by looking at Charlie. Okay. But, so I don't know. Interesting. If Brian Harple's here and this is his whole, he stays there the entire time. I don't know if Dan Flood was Charlie's personal security member yet. So this might be so old that this is the Schaefer group still. Is that Dan Flood right there? Yeah. Okay. So maybe he's just filling in for Dan while he's in the bathroom. But remember, so the original security team that gave Charlie his security was the Schaefer security group, Greg Schaefer. Brian Harple, Dan Flood, and a good amount of the guys that are with the Integrity Security Solutions, Brian Harple's team, new company, were with Schaefer, and they left when this schism happened, when Brian Harple and Dan Flood underbid for the contract and cut Schaefer Group out. Okay. So, but it's hard to tell. I can tell right now that he's not engaged yet, or at least he's not married yet. He's wearing this, it's kind of like a promise ring, or it's a silicone ring that he wears on his wedding finger. You know, I'd have to go look back at exactly when did he officially switch from the silicone, you know, like Quelo ring, to the gold signet ring. Was it after they finally like actually had their wedding date? I got to put the dates together, but I know at some point, you know, in that period of 2018 to 2021, when they're dating and then engaged and then married, he switches from wearing that ring to the signet ring. Okay. But look who we have here. So we got Brian Harple right here, and then we got Terrell Farnsworth. Okay.
Allow a microphone with people that have differing views.
But I think when you come out and you say like civil war and you use these like fear-mongering words, I feel like you're definitely trying to like get people like riled up, and that helps.
I mean, it's 100% factual. We're close to a civil war in this country, and I don't want that to happen. And people that act like that are going to further radicalize both sides, and you de-radicalize a population through speech.
I would say that conversation and media and like spreading the word definitely like that's like how you.
What I've also done, you guys, and it takes a lot of time, right? Every time I rewatch these videos, I'm looking for something different. So I also look back and look at the crowd, right? And I'm trying to see if I find like consistent faces that are at events, like people from the Un-F America tour that are at previous events and that are at UVU that day. And I don't know, this guy looks probably military, maybe, but
bridge the gap. But like when you're talking about the immigration debate, you said if you
buy an illegal.
So you believe that everyone, no matter what you've done, deserves to get deported even if they're illegal? What if they just do nothing and just reach society?
Pakistan.
So this is one of the only times where I see Terrell Farnsworth standing directly behind Charlie, like he wanted to be in the video. He knows that this angle is going to be in the video. He is providing no security at all. He is the AV guy because Brian is on this side. Eventually Dan is on this side. This event, if it shows a behind the scenes shot from this event, no, this is a amalgamation of different events. This is why I don't like these, but this event, man, I need to find this one, what campus they're at. CP Colorado. Is this Colorado? This might be a Colorado event. Let's see if I could see in the crowd different people. Because if Brian Harple's here and the camera's here on this side, that means the AV setup is on this side where Terrell Farnsworth is. That means this is the same kind of AV setup that was at UVU that day, right? Where the AV equipment is on the left-hand side of Charlie. That's why Terrell's on this side. The camera's on this side like it was at UVU. And the camera pointing back at Charlie is to Charlie's front left. And that's why it's angling back and you're catching Brian Harple in the shot, and why eventually you get, like, I saw it. Where is it? Where Dan Flood's in the shot, right? So there's Terrell. There he is. All right. But there's a shot where, oh, it's a different event. All right. But there's Dan Flood on this side, which means whatever this event is, this is another setup like UVU. Dan's in the back to the right of Charlie, which means the camera's to the front left and the AV is set up on the left-hand side. This is the old mic, right, setup, which is interesting because he's wearing the necklace and I think he's wearing the signet ring. Let's see. No, he's still got the silicone ring, but he's got the necklace on. This is obviously a more current one as well. Just looking at his face, Charlie, you know, matured and grew, you know, and his features changed over the years.
Right. That's the point. And secondly,
you could see him do the tick all the time. Do
you think that you have a right to immigrate to America?
I think that I didn't have a choice. My grandparents made that decision
Yeah.
for me.
And I'm not trying to attack your grandparents, but no one has a right to go to anybody else's country.
No.
You are invited. It is a privilege. Not
Yeah,
a
or you come here legally, right? You know, and that's a very unpopular stance. But and I think that's why people hated Charlie the most, is because he said publicly, boldly, confidently, the most honest, direct stances on some of the most triggering, controversial issues in America between the left and the right. And I think that's why he was hated and vilified and persecuted and slandered, you know? But let's see. And then that's when he goes on the whatever podcast. So this one, we got Dan Flood back on this side again. So now, let's see.
Has it made American women happier? And it hasn't, actually. American women are more suicidal, more depressed, more anxious than they were prior.
Let's see. Here
Feminism.
we can see his ring. So he's got the ring. I can't see if he's got the necklace on, but for whatever reason, the mic is on the outside of his shirt and not on the inside. You know, there's variations in all of these different setups, even close to 2025 in UVU, because he's got the signet ring. You can see that this is a more current video of Charlie, you know, so even on the days, yeah, he is wearing the necklace. He's got the box chain necklace on. So let's go here. This is the same AV and TV setup like we saw that day at UVU with Dan Flood in the back right, the camera in the front left, and the AV is not over here on the right. So it's going to be on the left side like it was at UVU.
that generally, but for example, the vast majority of students that graduate from four-year college, they'll end up getting a job, if they get a job at all, in a career or a job that doesn't require.
And you know what? Some campus events, you guys, aren't on their website. Some of the campus events aren't on the Charlie Kirk website, the full videos, okay? I went through all of them today. They're not all there. So I don't know what's up with that.
Require a college degree.
Some of them only exist in clip form, shorts. This is University of Texas. I could tell by the Longhorn color shirt and the Live Free tour, but this is their Texas event.
Henceforth, asking the question, why did they go to college in the first?
And let's
Close
see.
to the mic as you can.
Or what is he wearing? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not Texas. But I mean, let me hop through. And this is the other bummer when you get them in the shorts, in the clips. It's not labeled what. Maybe that's just the color of the. No, this is the same event. Hey, this guy's at a different one. He shows up a couple times. Is he trolling here?
It's good to have like a balanced society, because then you're going to get artists. You're also going to get architectures. You're going to get engineers. You're going to get all sorts of different people that we need in society. Because, like, what's the point in living if we don't have writers or artists? You know. So that's
okay. I'm not here to listen to the students right now. All right. So he's got the silicone ring. These just help point out dates without being able to see what event this is and seeing the date on it. Let's see the beginning of this shot. Where does it start? So I can see the very beginning.
Said that economics was not the best thing to study in your opinion. Like,
correct. Okay. So these are Charlie Kirk debates, Shook 2024. So these are all in 2024, which aren't incredibly old.
When I put my hand up, the question I wanted to ask was like, what do you actually think the best thing to study?
Well, I mean, you should go.
Who's back there? Who's that
what the
guy?
college is, it's known for, if it's best at.
That guy's doing the camera. If the camera's on the back left, that means Dan Flood or Brian Harpel is going to be on the right. I'm going to guess Dan Flood. This looks like Brian Harpel in the back.
And so I don't know what UW is known for or what it's best at, but I mean, computer science, right? I would imagine the Paul Allen School.
Oh, so UW. So this is a University of Washington event. Man, and when you Google, when I put them in YouTube, sometimes they don't even come up in their full videos. It's hard to find. All right, let's go to the next one here. All right, let me get rid of that one. Let me make sure I'm sharing it. Cool. I haven't pulled a Baron today, which is good. Wait, what? This is what event? This is Charlie Kirk. Let's see.
It's actually really promising that a president is willing to risk even his own.
Okay, so once again, so Dan Flood is here. He's got the Charlie's got the signet ring. We got the mic on the front right. It's pulling down on the shirt. He's got his necklace on. You can see it in a previous part of the video when he's leaning forward or leaning back. And then Brian Harple's, like I said, this is like 90% of the time the setup. Okay, Dan Flood, Brian Harple looking back. That's the majority
Political
of the time.
favorability to do something that every other politician has promised, which is to protect the American worker. I really think that's political courage in spades. But I could address the other points, but if you'd like to interject.
You're right. Like Dan leaves.
Not be a vassal state to the Chinese Communist Party, while also improving the well-being of the people who voted for me, and not just people who voted for me, but every American person, every American citizen. Finally, if tariffs are nothing but downsides, why does China use them? There are some upsides potentially to tariffs, to protect some industries or to incentivize domestic production. And finally, I think I want to double down and reiterate this point.
Ryan goes out of view, and he
mean,
doesn't
like,
come
how do
back
we
for a
not
while.
impose
Where is he?
tariffs?
There he is.
The price of oil has gone down dramatically, like 20.
So this is the normal hand setup for Dan Flood. And like I said, Brian typically is like this or like this, like Dan is. But there are a number of instances where Brian is crossing his hands both underneath both biceps, like he did at UVU that day. So, you know,
for what it's worth, I haven't had lunch, so I'm gonna leave and let the next person talk.
Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. Let's.
I got
Brian is going to come up to Dan for a second. Let's watch.
And all you need to do, all that anyone should really bother doing, is not to fight about it, but to just pay attention to what actually happens and to reflect on whether what Charlie said is true, that this president is actually a patriot and is actually adapting and is actually doing things to make your life better. Okay?
Yes, and they voted for him for a reason, because they saw his first term and how well he did and how Joe Biden destroyed the country intentionally. Thank you, doctor, and I wish you well.
All right, let's go now to. All right, now I'm going to play a couple clips which point out some of the stances Charlie had, and we can compare them to things that like TPUSA. Oh, no. Did I exit out of the wrong one? No, I didn't. All right. TPUSA, Andrew Colvett, Erika Kirk have tried to say Charlie's stance is after his assassination. So let's see. All right, we'll start here. All right, what event is this? This is the Michigan State, and the Michigan State timestamp. I already had it pulled up at the right. I just want to double check 32. All right, we're there.
Let's just say the Christian part of the conservative movement is overwhelmingly pro-Israel. And so they're responding to also what their constituents want as well. If these representatives were, pro-Israel and it was unpopular, they would be primaried out. Your problem seems to be more with the voters of the Christian conservative Republican movement, which is fine. And granted, the younger you.
All right. So he said, I thought this stuck out to me because Charlie said, if these politicians were pro-Philly and it's not what the constituents would want, they'd be primaried out. Charlie, look at Ted Cruz. Look at Lindsey Graham. There's quite a few that are holding down the position. Obviously, a lot of this has transpired after his assassination. Some of it had began before, but really, Charlie's assassination really opened the can of worms of the toothpaste, squeezed all of it out, empty toothpaste all over, not getting back in there. Charlie's assassination really did this, right? It already was happening. That's why he did the focus group with the TPUSA chapter heads. He clearly was publicly, having Tucker Carlson on. He did that, show with Megyn Kelly where they talked about it. He had Dave Smith debate Josh Hammer, and then all the stuff privately that was going on behind the scenes with him saying, I'm leaving the pro-Philly cause. These people are crazy. They play into all the stereotypes. They leave me no choice. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, right? And so it already was happening, right? Mostly it was happening a lot behind the scenes, right? Not as publicly as it is today, right? but his assassination really was this catalyst that just really brought everyone around to where most of these Gen Z college students already were. Okay. But I found it interesting, this statement.
If these representatives were, you know, pro-Israel and it was unpopular, they would be primaried out.
Man, I wish. All right, let's do this one. This is Florida State timestamp 5922. Where are we at? 15. All right.
I had a question. It's not directly about it.
Once again, I've already pointed out he's wearing the signet ring. He's got the mic on. It's on the inside. It pulls down on the shirt. Dan Flood is back here. Okay.
I think that
I'm happy to talk about it, but just for the audience's sake.
No, I understand. And so I think that Trump has a lot of dictatorial tendencies. And so recently he posted an AI video of himself at the Gaza logo. And so what's your opinion on that specifically?
I think it's hilarious.
It's hilarious, but is that not concerning to you that the leader of the supposed free world is posting about an ethnic cleansing of a group of people?
I wouldn't use that term first and foremost.
And this is what shocked me, you guys, because Charlie himself used that term. When did this event happen? August 26, 2025. I mean, I don't know if that's actually when the Florida State event happened, or that's when they most edited it and uploaded it again. But Charlie himself on the PBD podcast said that BB in Philly was that BB gave a mandate to ethnically cleanse Gaza, right? He said that, and so it's just interesting why here he's saying he's pushing back on this kid who used that language when he himself used that language. And so that kind of was a head scratcher for me.
It's the definition of it.
Well,
ethnic cleansing is the...
So, I mean, first of all, you got to take all of that with a little bit of levity and light.
Right.
Maybe in the context. Oh, okay. I see. So he's talking about in context of what Trump posted, not necessarily whether or not that is what Philly is doing.
But he's the president. It's not like he's a random person speaking like you.
He's also President Trump, so you got to remember a little levity and light.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to overanalyze the video, but it did show Gaza being built beautifully into kind of like a Hong Kong, right? Singapore
right, but he said that he wants to...
He's not saying that's okay. He's talking about the tweet that Trump did with this picture, okay?
Take those people out and remove them from Gaza to then
so I
fill up
suppose
the beach
that's
resort.
an interesting...
That's the definition of ethnic cleansing. It's removing an ethnic group of people from a specific
but let
area.
me ask you, and I don't know the answer to this, what would you say is a reasonable solution to this problem?
To Gaza, I think a two-state solution. I think that Israel is committing a genocide against the...
I'm trying to see if I can find Brian in the back, and I don't in this one. We see a police, uniformed police member, officer. All right, here's the setup, right? Philip on the right. AV, we got camera front right. Blake's over here. We got big bald guy and this guy. They're always in the front. These three are always in the front right here in this setup. Blake, bald guy, this guy. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. Wait, let's see. Did I show the behind shot on this one on the previous video? So you guys can see the behind shot. Hold on. It's when they transition in between. They didn't do it there. Sometimes they edit it out. Hold on. Let me try to, maybe if I see it in the beginning. All right. And here's the, let me do this. And so some of the times there is a camera in up above in the back, right? And sometimes there's not. Okay. Yeah, let's see if I can see from behind looking out into the crowd shot so we can see the setup here as well. It's usually in between students when they transfer, when students walk. Oh man, did they edit that out of this whole video? Hold on. Yeah, I don't see. I think they did. this whole video doesn't show from. Oh yeah, there isn't a camera from up above, but usually there's still a camera to the back right, on a tripod. But this one, yeah, doesn't show any of the shots facing out. All right, let's go to the next one that I have here. All right, and this is the University of California, San Diego, UCSD, my old stomping grounds. You know, I had multiple surgeries at UCSD, the VA at UCSD, and was it Balboa, the military hospital down in Balboa. But yeah, let's listen. Let me get UCSD timestamp 114:53. All right, right there.
Photo that Trump held up, they were, and he advocates that they were like on his hand, not that they were labels.
I don't know what you're talking about, but sure. What's your next contention?
Okay, and then I want to just get two things that you disagree with Trump that he's done in his current presidency.
Canada should not be the 51st state.
Okay. Okay.
And I think I'm not even a disagreement. I think we should have caution to try to go to war with Iran.
Okay.
We should be very careful about bombing the Houthis and getting closer to a war with Iran.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Wait, that's what it was. Hold on.
Yes. Who's up?
Let me go back. That's an important take, is it not? Is it not an important take?
Trump was saying that they were on there. He kept going on and on about it for 2 minutes.
I don't know the point of what you're making. The iconography, I can look it up.
Right.
Literally means MS-13.
I completely agree that those logos
All right,
were
come on, get to the
each
part
of his
that
numbers.
matters.
I'm saying that the letters MS and the numbers 13 were not on there, but in the photo
This kid was talking in circles. I think he was trolling this part.
Trump held up, they were, and he advocates that they were like on his hand, not that they were labels.
I don't know what you're talking about, but sure. What's your next contention?
Okay, and then I want to just get two things that you disagree with Trump that he's done in his current presidency.
Canada should not be the 51st state.
Okay.
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 And I think I'm not even a disagreement. I think we should have caution to try to go to war with Iran.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a statement before we even bombed Fordo. And the context of the answer is the question, and the question is disagreements with Trump. And even though he prefaces it by saying, I wouldn't even call this a disagreement, that is what started his thinking, Charlie's thinking, and what spawned that answer. So even if he says, I wouldn't call it a disagreement, it's obviously in his head something he already somewhat disagrees with Trump on. And he says that he would caution strongly against going to war with Iran. So now take that after we know he was not okay with the bombing of Fordo, but he was willing to trust Trump because it was a limited engagement. You had you had a concise end goal, right? Mission accomplished, bomb these sites, in, out, no troops on the ground. Okay, I'm not okay with that. I'm not for it, but I'll trust Trump on it. Okay, now going forward, everything we've done after the assassination with Iran, no. Charlie would not be in support of it, and his trusting Trump would have ended, right? Military servicemen and women have died. We're putting more troops in the area and possibly on the ground. It is affecting the average American greatly in our pockets, and potentially further down the line, right? America first is Charlie's like one of his biggest things. Okay. And this is not an America first decision. He would not be supporting Trump in this. Just end a discussion on that one. All right. Next one. All right. So that's all of the campus events for the show, but I got other things we're going to look at. Let's listen to this. All right. Yep, I pulled it up. Let's see. We got a super chat. We got Sonia. March 25th, 2025. Go Knowles. March 25th, 2025. Go Knowles. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. You got to give me some context, Sonia. I don't know what that means. Help me out. Can I buy a vowel?
6. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona at the Y-Refi studio. How we doing, Blake?
You know, we're not having the show we thought we would have today.
We're not having the show. We didn't have the show on Saturday that we thought we were going to have either. I was actually at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, as many of you probably know by now. I didn't say much about it before the event. I was honored to be invited by a few different outlets. Went and sitting next to Harmeet Dillon. And the night was going along. It was great, having a good time, meeting a lot of old friends, saying hi to new ones. And then, you know, while we're sitting there waiting for the food to get served, President Trump, J.D. Vance, and others on the dais, on the stage, all of a sudden you start seeing everybody duck for cover.
Did you hear anything?
I heard essentially what I...
Hey, guys, can you guys do me a favor? We got 256 people here. We have 164 likes. Can you please do me a favor before you forget and just hit the like and subscribe for me? Thank you very much. Thank you. We will get back to it now. Okay.
You know, I thought somebody was kind of going like that. Like I clocked something.
I thought somebody hit the table. That's what it sounded like to Andrew Colvett.
In the back of my mind as, you know, maybe a tray fell but I actually thought, you know, somebody was pounding because it was such a raucous, cacophonous room. And I will just say,
he's got the same toilet paper that Joey Tribbiani had in Friends with different words of the day. Cacophonous. Oh, Andrew, you know big words.
Hey, you know, there's been a lot of talk about the security in that room.
Lack of security.
But for me, it was like when we were in there, you could.
Is that, Sonia? Is this your explanation to the Knowles? Let's see. That's when he was at FSU. You're the best. Look at you. See, these are the things. I love you guys. FSU event March 2025. That helps me look up the full video later. Thank you, Sonia. You're the best.
Navigate. The tables were so close together that if people were sitting in the chairs, there was zero room to navigate in between. And so it was I mean, God forbid that place would have had a fire, because people would not have gotten out. Guaranteed. I mean, it was a total fire hazard, I will say.
That does sound.
The things that Andrew, could you imagine Charlie, right? Like, if Charlie were still with us, we would have such better content, just such a better show than to listen to these two literal morons. Like, literally, they're morons. Okay. Hey, Zach, by the way, it's called the Hegelian dialectic, right? It's problem, reaction, solution. I was watching your show earlier today. It was cracking me up. The Hegelian dialectic. And that is what Blake and Ev was trying to sound super smart when talking about. I messaged you about it.
Like something Trump might do. They're like, Mr. President, it's gotten too full. He's like, nah, make the event bigger.
No, I mean, I don't know.
Andrew's like, shut up, dude. You're a moron. Please stop talking. You're making us look even more stupid. Look at Blake's really just bizarre smile. Andrew's not amused. I'm not amused.
Who made that kind of decision? But it was a tight squeeze.
Yeah. So
essentially,
no security and overfill to capacity. Yeah, sounds like Secret Service was not doing anything at all close to their job. And then now looking back at the video that's been played, that, you know, hotel video that shows people, you know, supposedly the suspect running, total AI video. One of the Secret Service members like has a hat on at first and then like moves and turns, and the hat disappears and turns into just black hair. Also, at a distance, there's clearly a part in that security footage where there is this white box that appears every time someone walks in front of that area of that footage. This white pizza box size looking box appears. It's so bizarre.
You heard this noise, but again, you kind of just assume there was a lot going on. Somebody dropped something or whatever. And then little by little, starting in the back of the room, you saw people ducking underneath their tables. And so sure enough, we dove underneath our table, and you could see the thing that I will never forget was the urgency, I would call it like a violent urgency of the Secret Service as everybody dives under the table, because you could hear them yelling and you could see them running, and there was like they were throwing chairs to get them out of the way, and you're like, whoa, something is up. And so everybody just we dive under the table. We're there again, time was sort of a blur, but I would assume maybe 3 to 5 minutes under the table, under the and you kind of, I'm peeking out, I'm trying to see if the coast is clear. Then it becomes, did President Trump get shot? Because I kind of looked up.
And it was probably a lot harder for you guys to tell.
No, we had no idea what happened, because I look up, they're all gone off the stage, and you see, tactical outfitted Secret Service on the stage, and you see them marching down the middle, and you see them. And by the way, so I was so close up to, I was essentially house left, stage right, a couple rows back from the stage, and the Secret Service came right by our table and walked on our chairs. So a Secret Service
is so weird, the things that they decide to like focus on, like the Secret Service walking on their chairs. And he's going to say like some girl gets stepped on her face and she ends up getting a welt.
Service put his boot on the chair. We're
not going to watch this for long. There's a particular part. It's coming up. That's all we're going to do. And then we're moving on to the Erika Kirk Old Miss speech.
Just sitting on, as they were navigating in the room, Harmeet's head was kind of
Harmeet's head was kind of poking up, and the Secret Service guy steps on her face.
Kind of poked up a little bit. She got stepped on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Blake's responses are ridiculous. And Andrew's like, bro, I'm not going to have you as my co-host anymore, dude. You can't, this wasn't something you're supposed to laugh at. Andrew's saying this is something like just so tragic. This whole event is just so traumatic, and poor Harmeet's got stepped on and she has a welt, and Blake's over here like, that's so funny. She got stepped on.
It's a poor thing, actually. She had a
poor thing. Oh, look at him realize like, oh, snap. This wasn't a funny thing you're saying. Watch his face go from, this is funny, to, oh, I'm not supposed to be laughing.
A welt on her head from getting stepped.
Oh, there it is. Look how fast that was.
On. I mean, this in theory could be the next Attorney General of the United States. She got
serious, Blake. Why so serious, Blake? Just laugh, Blake.
Stepped on by a Secret Service that were working with such urgency, and they obviously had no idea who was at what table. So eventually, everything kind of calms down. I get up. Everybody starts kind of rising. I see Philip Wegman, who's with the Wall Street Journal. I said, Phil, did they get, like, is the president okay? Because at this point, I'm like,
yeah, because Philip Wegman with the Wall Street Journal, that's the person you should ask. Yeah. Yep. Is Trump okay, Philip Wegman?
Shot that came
and there's
from
bad
the back.
Reception in that room because it's underground.
There was no reception. Nobody could make phone calls.
It's also very bizarre. It's a normal hotel with its own Wi-Fi. Why was it like blackballed, right? No one could get any reception and send any videos or posts out in the aftermath, except for some specific people clearly were given the authority or the ability to record and post immediately. Specific people were posting, recording, some live, right? But he's saying the majority weren't able to.
So I asked Phil, I said, did they get the president? Is JD okay? Because in theory, I'm thinking, did a shot come from the back of the room and I just didn't hear it and it got President Trump?
Yeah.
Well, Phil says that they had actually he watched him get off the table. Next thing I know, Brian off the stage, so he was okay. JD, he said, I didn't see JD. Next thing I know, Brian Stelter of CNN is up on the.
This guy's just name dropping. Brian Stelter of CNN. I know it's a correspondence dinner, so obviously it's all the different correspondents, but like Andrew just can't help himself but to just be like, I'm in the club, guys. I'm in the club. I know everybody's name. They know my name. I'm going to say their name like they're my neighbor. And like, I am so cool. I got to go to the correspondence dinner. I was invited. I know I already forgot the people's names, but Andrew's proud at the fact that he's just name dropping left and right. And Blake is just so proud of his Tweedledee and Tweedledum right over here. Look at him. He's just like, oh my gosh, Andrew's just the coolest. Oh, someday I can grow up and be like Andrew. Oh, Blake.
Stage with doing a selfie video. Like, I don't know. It was, and it's a room full of journalists. And so they're all got their cameras out doing like live reporting. I think just.
How are they doing live reporting if everybody's phones and service was locked down and no one could do it? You slipped up there, Andrew.
To record the videos.
I was enjoying the split between journalists who filmed events around them and the ones taking selfies videos of themselves.
So I instantly run over. I was probably about 10 tables away, 12 tables away from where Erika was seated. I ran over there as quickly as I could because it was so crammed and jammed. I could only make it over there. So
do you guys remember? Okay, raise your hand if you know. You better. If you don't know what I'm about to say, you guys, I forgive you, but you should leave. No, I'm just kidding. Mrs. Doubtfire. Do you remember in the final scene when they're at Bridges, the restaurant, and what's his name is choking on the shrimp because Robin Williams, Miss Doubtfire, threw all that like Cajun pepper on it, and she's like jumping over the tables, right? And she's like, "Help is on the way, dear. Help is on the way." Right? That's Andrew. I could see him just like Erika Kirk. Help is on the way. I'm coming, Erika. Meanwhile, like Andrew's wife is either not there at all or like back at the table. And he's like, I'm coming, Erika. His wife's just like, what about me? And Andrew don't care. Andrew don't care. What do we got? A major Jesse on Schmeier show tonight. Top rated Squib Theory, now number 1. Oh my gosh. You're joking, right? Top rated Squib Theory, now number 1. What are you talking about, Mountain Star Studio? Are you for real right now? I don't know what to do with this right now. I really don't. Beep. I'm going to continue on. Jim Bearer. Poor Blake. He's so bummed he didn't get to go. I agree. He just has to live vicariously through Andrew and just like stare at his eyes. Just like, oh, to be Andrew. Someday.
Quickly. And she had already been ushered out. I ran into Harris Faulkner and I ran into
Harris Faulkner, blah, 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 blah. Name drop left, right.
Martha McCallum, and they said that they had seen Erika get ushered out. She was okay. Erika.
Yes, because no one was injured. Well, on the inside. Let's see. Let's look at that video. Where it be in my chat. Crystal. Here we go. Let's pull it up. Hold on. All right, it's shared. Let me make it big. Let me back this up. Whoa. Oh yeah, this is the spoof. I forgot, but let's do it anyway. That was really loud. Sorry. Oh my gosh, that's still really loud. Why is that so loud? Oh, Crystal, you crack me up. I love it. All right, we'll come back to this other video. Just let's stick with it. All right.
I believe sort of were under the same table praying when it was all happening.
Yes. Yes, they were under the same table praying. That's it. You gotta call into, spiritually hijack our faith again. Don't forget, hit those talking points, Andrew.
I mean, it was a terrifying moment. Everybody, I got a number of texts and calls.
How did you get text and calls, Andrew? You just said no one had service. Nobody had service. How are people recording and going live and posting? How are you receiving text and calls? You just said 5 seconds ago, nobody had service.
Are you okay? Poso called right away. Tyler Boyer called right away. And I just, my phone was blowing up. But,
how is your phone blowing up? You're so inconsistent, Andrew.
Here's the thing. I'm okay. My concern in the moment was just for Erika, for Mikey.
What? There it is. That's what I was waiting for. Hold up. I just want to point out. I just want to point this out. Okay. Can you guys throw up the Mikey McCoy emoji? Can you just like drop it like crazy in the chat, in the live chat, that new Mikey McCoy emoji, please? Okay. So we're supposed to believe the miraculous general of the most literal, like actual traumatic event of modern age time. Yeah, there it is. Thank you. That on that day, he was so freaking calm and collected. Like, dude didn't hit the deck, didn't freak out, didn't like, honestly, if this was like, if he didn't know it was coming and he wasn't part of the assassination, this is how I perceive Mikey McCoy. Like freaking out, like literally like a little girl, maybe grabbing onto Blake and like hiding, or like maybe like hiding behind one of the security guards, like save me, right? But because, in my opinion, he knew and was part of what was going on, he literally phone, ears, boom, turns around and walks away. And then he makes some calls, and he's supposedly the most courageous, brave soul there that day. Okay. Andrew Colvette, in the same sentence where he's saying, I was afraid for and I was worried for Erika Kirk, a female, right? He goes, Erika Kirk and Mikey McCoy. I was worried for Erika Kirk and Mikey McCoy. I just find that interesting because you can't hide things sometimes, the brain box just lets it out, and Andrew was just really, really worried for Mikey McCoy. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine Mikey in a real situation, like in a fight, a gunfight, a fist fight, a pillow fight? I say all three. He's like screaming like a little girl, and he is terrified of physical contact, Just, I don't know. That's just the vibe I get.
Harris and Erika, I believe, sort of were under the same table praying when it was all happening. And I mean, it was a terrifying moment. Everybody, I got a number of texts and calls. Are you okay? Poso called right away. Tyler Boyer called right away. And I just, my phone was blowing up. But, here's the thing. I'm okay.
Oh. Andrew's okay. He's brave. Andrew is okay. Everyone's terrified, under the tables, freaking out, hiding, praying together. Andrew's okay. But he's worried about...
My concern in the moment was just for Erika, for Mikey, others, and, just to see the way that the reaction has been from this moment. And we're going to get into the details. We're going to get into the Secret Service, the perimeter. We have Susan Crabtree joining us next. We've got a great show in store for you. But
newsflash, they don't have a good show. The show sucked, okay? They're horrible, and they suck, and this show sucked. And they need to stop putting Charlie's name up here because Charlie was amazing. His show was outstanding, and you guys can't hold a freaking candle to him, man. And you guys are ruining it. You're ruining everything. I hate you guys. But for real, they are ruining everything, and they need to take Charlie's name off of their show. This is not the Charlie Kirk Show. This is Tweedledee, Tweedledum.
My reaction is just that a shock and horror that people are alleging that Erika's reaction was somehow, performative. Up your...
yeah. Hold on. I'll let him finish, and then I'll pause. Hold on.
Up yours.
Those people. That's disgusting.
Secondly, that this was staged to get sympathy for Trump or even for Erika or Turning Point. Up yours. This is
actually a good test. Like,
did you guys buy that? Do you guys buy that little performative, what I mean? Man, I want to find, where is the actual full video of her walking out, not the edited one. I think this is it. Yeah, let me do this. Let me share. Boom. Stop. I need to make it not so loud. Let me back it up. Let me make sure I'm sharing. I am. All right, let's go. Ready? Bo.
I just want to go find.
It's just so performative, just like objectively performative. Just, objectively it's performative, I don't know.
Like, if you are a person where it is reasonable to you that assassination attempts are faked, are staged.
Oh my goodness. You should call Jesse on Fire and Jordan Henshaw, Kelly Rabban, and you should tell them how you feel. You should tell them how you feel, right?
Just stop opining on public events because your brain is too cooked by television, by movies, by memes you read on the internet to think rationally about things.
Listen,
period.
Yeah, I understand COVID. That was a whole op. I get
like literally like every event, like JFK, Gulf of Tonkin, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, like all of them, like everything has been, whether it's happened naturally and then it's spun into an op, or it was an op from the beginning, and you just, ugh.
The Russia hoax op. I get there's reasons to be distrustful and to hold
but not Trump, not his administration. I get it that we shouldn't just trust the government, but just right now, this administration, this president, us, this 4 years, we're trustworthy. Jeffrey, who? Are we still talking about Jeffrey? Yeah, don't worry about that, right? But you could trust us. You could trust us.
Did leaders' feet to the fire? I'm all on board with that.
No, you're not. Hold Trump to the fire. Josh Patel. Huh? Pam Bondi?
But for real, if you are going to assume that everything is the freaking Jews or everything is some staged 5D chess move and that leftists don't want you dead, I've got about 48 minutes of clips loaded up today to prove you wrong, to prove that you are missing the big E on the eye chart. And I said it before, but I'll say it again. When Charlie was with...
They had to work this in, right? Like, we're not even talking about Charlie's stance on anything. They just had to work this in. And I didn't watch the rest of... Do they work in all of these clips, supposedly, of Charlie talking about the crazy left? Or he said he's got 48 minutes of Charlie Kirk clips. No. How about them apples? No. He's got them loaded up, guys. He's got all these clips loaded up to show us, and none of them.
He was not afraid of the Jews. He was afraid of...
Oh, my gosh. He literally, at the end of his life, seems to be like singularly focused on being afraid of the Jews. Okay? I mean, there's actual evidence, text messages, statements to Joe Kent, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, even people in his circle, even on his phone. Erika Kirk knows about it. You know about it. Frank Turk knows about it. Dan Flood knew about it. Brian Harple knew about it. But you're not peddling misinformation, huh?
Purple-haired jihadists that wanted him dead. He was afraid of trannies. He was afraid of...
Yeah, Charlie was afraid of trannies. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. These people, man.
Wild, violent assassination culture that's running amok on the left.
It's not working. See, like, part of why they wanted to assassinate Charlie was not just because to eliminate Charlie of being a potential threat, any current and future, things that this administration and the controlling and ruling elite wanted to do. It also was to use his assassination to the end of their design, which was to use this assassination to foment this, against the left and to come for the left as the left came for the right. It's just nuts, man.
Left. And if you can't get it through your freaking head yet, I have nothing for you.
Okay, you don't have anything for us anyway, dude. You don't really have anything for anyone anyway.
To Blake's point, get off the internet. You are cooked. Your brain is toast.
Look at Blake. I'm so cool. Andrew just said, yeah, what Blake said. That's me. I'm Blake. Andrew said what I said. That's me. Yes.
Wake up. We have put up with.
Oh, we're awake because we watched Charlie Kirk get assassinated, and it's literally like woke us all up. All of us, except for you and Erika, and all of you around him seem to be asleep at the wheel and are not awake in the same way that the rest of the United States and the world has woken up. The way that we were affected from Charlie Kirk's assassination is why we have an issue with you. Because you guys are the closest to him and none of you are responding the way we are. Like, it's insane to us that we could actually not know Charlie like you guys did, and that we care more about who really killed him and what happened to him than all of you. That is one of our major issues with you two. And Erika. And Tyler and freaking all of them. All of them.
Deranged leftists.
All right. Nothing original here. No original thoughts from these two monkeys. All right. Oh, let's move on. All right. Do you guys remember this event? Right? Need I say more? Fingers through the hair. You know. My husband was just assassinated, but I'm going to weave my fingers through the vice president's hair. Okay. I mean, doing that with Charlie alive, I don't know which is worse, right? Doing it when he's alive or right after he's dead. They're both just like, that is Erika, right? Leather pants, right? In the week after the assassination and running your fingers through the back of a married man's hair while your husband was just assassinated and buried. I don't know. Why does this Erika Kirk look like a different Erika Kirk, by the way? Are there multiple Erika Kirks? That's also a thing. Like, she looks really different all the different times. It's going to get clear. It's fuzzy. It gets clearer. Hold on.
Good evening, Old Miss. Oh, man. Love you guys too. Oh, it's hard not to cry after watching that. I haven't seen that portion of him saying that video since that day happened. But Charlie, when he came onto campus, he loved to immerse himself in the culture of the campus that he was in. And so, from word on the street, you guys have a chant out there. I hear it's a good one. It's hotty toddy. Love it. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know why it was so blurry at first and then it got clear.
But it's a tremendous honor and blessing to be on the stage today. And this is what Turning Point USA is all about. This is what the future of our country is all about. And I want to thank you all.
Hold on.
Also on a personal level.
Okay, so here she is wearing a box chain necklace similar. So she's wearing 3 different necklaces, right? She has this black one, then what is supposedly right? Charlie Kirk's necklace, and then her necklace, which is draped over the outside of the shirt. But this one in the middle is supposedly Charlie Kirk's necklace. But we know for a fact, okay, for a fact, that necklace Charlie Kirk was wearing that day was broke mid-chain. It broke near and around where the mic was, okay? And it flung up over his head, all right? That would have had to, and I'm not saying she doesn't have connections, right? I mean, she's got a lot of Philadelphia connections, like a lot of jewelers she's probably friends with, right? Could have fixed that necklace, or even David Yurman. She probably, could have sent this and been like, Charlie wore this, right? Can you fix it? So it's possible. I doubt that it would have been fixed immediately. And for sure, the necklace that she was holding up in the car, out of the car, on the chair, all the different appearances that she's just like, look at the token I have, that had all the 3 different pendants. That's not the necklace Charlie wore at UVU. It's not the one that it's the same kind, right? Like the box chain David Yurman, she clearly had multiples, right? Because the one that was on Charlie was destroyed, okay? And needed to be fixed, and there's no way it was fixed in time, right? And furthermore, the one that he wore that day only had the cross, and she's holding up the one with all 3 pendants. So I do think that she switched out the necklace the night before, or even earlier than that. I don't know. But she doesn't. Yeah, there's issues with her so quickly having that necklace and it being able to be worn.
For all of your prayers and all of your support, not only for our family, but for the Turning Point USA family, which includes all of you, especially those that are students, a part of the Turning Point USA chapter at
We're all
Ole Miss.
family.
So
We're all family.
I love you guys. Truly, this whole, you guys have no idea how helpful it is to have all of you in my life, because you help me feel even more deeply connected to my husband. And I thank you for that. I thank all of you for that.
Perfect strangers help her feel more deeply connected to Charlie. That's weird. So you literally have 2 like living pieces of him, his children, okay, that to me would be the ultimate thing that makes you feel the most closest to him, right? Because that's also the most private thing you guys ever kept from everyone together, right? Like their identity, like we don't know their faces, which I agree with, right? I'm never going to bring my kids on screen. But nonetheless, you're saying strangers, family, right? Is what helps you feel so deeply connected to Charlie. It's just, I mean, I guess in a way that may be true, because you probably just weren't deeply connected to him at all. And so the most bizarre things, the most random talking point things are what make you feel connected to Charlie. Is now you living in his role, like you literally putting on his shoes and stealing his position, and now doing the engagements and the appearances that he would have been doing, right? That is what makes you feel closest to him. Okay. And
I say that also because you guys are the heartbeat of Turning Point USA. You're the heartbeat of this organization. And every time we were at an event, especially one that Charlie was speaking at, he would always ask beforehand, he would always ask Mikey or the team, he'd say, who in the audience is a Turning Point USA chapter leader or chapter member? And whenever there was a student there, he would stop everything before the event and he would sit down with them. He would ask you what your name is, what you're studying, what is the issues that are going on campus. He would take the time to make sure that you guys knew he was investing into you, into your chapter, into your school, because that was a pulse point for him. And being on campus right now for me is a spiritual reclaiming of territory. And let me explain that, because there is a lot of
I mean, it's not terrifying, right? Like you just watched your husband, right? Publicly get publicly assassinated on college campuses. And, you know, Andrew and everyone saying that the crazy left is still wanting to do that, right? And supposedly that's who doxed you in your flights, right? And death threats, right? I know this is early on, before that's much later. That's what just happened. But this so quickly right after, she's not afraid at all to get out there.
symbolism in today. It's Wednesday, 7 weeks. And the more that I'm coming to grips with the permanency of this nightmare, the more that I'm starting to realize and witness that the enemy, he doesn't want you.
You guys, that is so insane. So it's on a Wednesday. Okay, so like all Wednesdays. That's what she would have us believe, right? That just now Wednesdays are forever ruined for her. But 7 weeks after the assassination, she's going to get up there and talk about the permanence of this and the nightmare that this is, and not have any kind of emotional response to that is literally insane. 7 weeks. She's talking about grappling with the permanence of this as if, and she says it in a way with the affect and the composure as if she actually has already accepted and come to terms with the permanence of it. It's just unreal.
He wants your territory. He wants your influence. And when our team asked my dear friend, Vice President J.D. Vance, to speak today, I really prayed on it because obviously it's a very emotional day. But I could just hear Charlie in my heart. I could just hear him say, go reclaim that
I
territory.
wonder if we should count how many times she looks up. I know we're starting this now, the count, but it's already been like 5 times. So
Territory, babe. Go. The battle's already won.
is it?
God's love conquers. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here because this moment, it can either be your breaking point or your wake-up call, essentially your turning point, if you will.
Oh, I knew it, right? Breaking point. And then she says it in a way as if it's like just natural, right? Like she just said that. No. You said breaking point so that you could say turning point. It's on the paper you're reading. Knock it off. Knock it off.
And at this moment, every single
Okay, the reason why my eyes drive me nuts, you guys. So this morning, I put my contacts in, and one of them ripped, and like part of it was stuck in my eye. But I had to go to work, and I had to put them in so I could drive. And I had to go into the freaking optometrist, and I go in, and he like looks in there. Usually they can put dye in it, it interacts with the contact and turns it a color, and they pull it out. Well, he gets in there and he looks. He's like, "There's nothing in there." And I'm like, "You didn't put the dye in." He's like, "Oh, I didn't want to have to do that. I looked. It's not in there." And the rest of the day, I swear, that piece of contact is still in my freaking eye. And my contact that's in there is rubbing against the whatever remaining. And it's like right up here. It's driving me nuts. So I'm sorry I'm messing with my eye a lot. That's why.
single one of us has a choice to make, whether we stand for freedom or we're just going to fall for everything else. But I want to encourage you, especially the students here, find your voice. You are the courageous generation. That's what you are. All of you. Gen Z, you are the courageous generation. Hear me when I say that. My husband believed that to his core. That's why he went on campuses. That's why he was trying to reach you. You are the courageous generation. Own it. Make him proud. And students beyond.
So honestly, so this is only the second time I'm watching this. I watched it earlier today. When this all came out, I wasn't tapped into Erika yet. She is equally as unconvincing now as she was back then.
And Ole Miss, if you are pursuing a chapter on your campus, harness this amazing opportunity to advocate for something that you truly believe in and express it in the most articulate way of what exactly you're advocating for. You're advocating for America, you're advocating for freedom of speech. Because our chapters on high school campuses, I love it. Charlie was so excited when he named the programs for high schools. He said, we're gonna name it Club America. Because he goes, who could hate that name? It's the perfect name, Club America, and he loved it. Who could be against it? And I want you to know that if you are trying to start a chapter, I'm with you, we're with you, Charlie's with you. You have an arsenal of Turning Point USA staff members that are with you.
It's just weird word arsenal, like military language. You can said team, family, arsenal. Okay.
But I also, what I've been able to sit back and witness is the leaders that have stepped up to ensure that chapters can happen. For example, I don't know if you guys saw what happened earlier this week with Governor Ron DeSantis, which is amazing. I want to give him a massive shout out because he said, we're announcing a partnership with Turning Point USA. We want to make sure that all high schools in Florida, anybody in a high school that wants to start a Club America chapter will be able to do that.
Yeah, they're literally like almost making it illegal in like Texas and Florida. If you don't do it, like if you try to deny it and block it, it's insane. Ron DeSantis, what a joke.
There will be no
Greg Abbott, what a joke. These people need to be kicked out, flogged in the Times Square.
impediments to that, and certainly no discrimination. That's amazing.
This is what scares me, is that there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are buying and believing all of this crap and slop that they're spewing. I don't get it. I don't get it.
And then also, Governor Youngkin, I want to thank him as well. He donated generously to Turning Point USA to support new Turning Point USA chapters all over the Commonwealth of Virginia. How powerful is that? It's amazing. I'm so grateful. So when I heard that, I just looked up. I was like, all right, Charlie, 2 down, 48 to go. I see you. But Club America and Turning Point USA chapters, if you're wondering what those values are, it's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that's what our country was founded on. And when you succeed in establishing that chapter, I want to commend you, because that experience will leave a mark on you that will influence every choice that you make for the rest of your life and generations to come. Earn your voice. Charlie loved the word earn. Earn your voice.
I was waiting for that mark. Is that 11:32? Where are we at? Yeah, just about. Earn your voice. Charlie loved that word. Earn. Earn. A meritocracy. People should get positions in the workforce, in companies, in organizations, in government, pilots, teachers, students, in college universities. People should earn their way to whatever that is, whatever, fill in the blank, right? Did Erika earn to be CEO of Turning Point USA? Has she earned her voice to be this loud of a mouthpiece for this administration? Has she earned that title, that position, that place in our society, in our culture? No. Has she earned the place of a Christian conservative woman, mother, role model? No. No, she hasn't. In fact, I would say everything she did before marrying Charlie disqualifies her for all of this. Yes, God can save you and Jesus can redeem you and your life can change and he can restore you and you can be a totally new person. 1,000,000%. Yes. Erika didn't do that. Erika has lied about where she was at in her personal walk with Christ leading up to the moment she met Charlie, right? That she was locked away reading the Bible. She was, being a good steward of her purity, right? And showing God that she was ready for him to bring her Charlie Kirk. And that's the place in her life she was at when she went to Bill's Burgers. No. She was dating someone in January of 2018. She freaking came from the Hamptons, the beach summer house filming of that dating show. She came straight from there to the Bell's Burgers meeting. Make that make sense. So I'm not saying that people can't have a past and that God can't change someone's life dramatically, like in an instant, but it takes that person's ability as well. There's a lot of onus on the individual. Like there is a thing called free will. God's not doing the work for you. He's not going to just do it, right? You have to make that decision to repent, which is to turn away and go the other direction. You have to recognize that you are living a life outside of God's promise, a life of sin. And I'm not saying dating and drinking is a sin, but clearly Erika was living all the things that she has sworn she hasn't done. And that she sold to Charlie and even to the majority of her audience, their audience together when they were doing speaking engagements together, that she literally was still a virgin and that purity is one of the most important things that a woman could hold for her husband. And I agree with that. But Erika was living with multiple different partners before Charlie, living with them out of country. Okay. Just be honest with yourself. She was living with them. Come on. They were intimate. She had premarital relations with JT Massey and that basketball player and probably Cabot Phillips too, for real. Just being honest, right? And that she's going to get up here and say that she's earned her voice to speak to Christian women about purity, about being the, Proverbs woman so that God brings you your Charlie Kirk. Charlie was about earning. Yep. And he literally earned. Yeah. And he had help, right? People saw his potential and they helped him, right? But he still earned it. He earned it every day. He worked harder than all of those people around him. She hasn't earned anything. She's earned our distrust. She's earned our criticism. She has earned our critique and our issues with her. That's what she's earned through her words, her lies, her actions.
This is about your legacy. Each one of you in this room, everyone watching, when you earn your voice and you stand up for what is right, that is a part of your legacy, your family's legacy, just as much as it is part of Charlie's legacy. Don't forget that. Don't ever forget that. Because if there's one thing I've learned.
Let's see. Let me get to that super. What do we got? Scooch. Face it. This girl has boinged her way through life. Yeah, I think so, honestly. I think, though, with Charlie, Charlie was, I honestly do believe this. I think he was a virgin on his wedding night. And I think she led him to believe that she was too. And I think the one thing she didn't boink her way to was Charlie. But I think she conned him into the whole thing, right? And she misled him on everything that she said she was, you know? Yeah, it's just.
Especially being with Charlie for the past 7 years, it's that the hope we're looking for is not found in Washington. It's not found in media. It's right here. All of you. This is the hope. And he saw that. He saw that. It's in stadiums like this. Charlie had a visual in his head. He loved the on-campus events, but for the night events, he would send Tyler pictures and the team pictures of, I want our chapter events to look like this. And he sent a picture of one of the largest college football stadiums in the country packed. That was his vision. And
Yeah, I believe that, but they use this as justification for their focus on his memorial, right? So this whole, statement that, yeah, Charlie wanted growth, he wanted impact, he wanted to reach all of the youth, right? Yeah, he wanted to turn America into a Christian nation again. Yeah, 100%, I agree. But I think that's a disgusting comparison to then use that Charlie's reason for wanting to affect more Gen Z and the youth and the country in a positive way to, make it Christian again and not so secular, that they use that in that post-memorial phone call, video, Zoom and phone call. There's the Zoom one, and then there's the one without the video, where they're like focusing on the size and, Charlie would have been so happy and this is what Charlie wanted. And Charlie was looking down cheering. No, I don't think so, because this had to do with his memorial, right? And that TPUSA whistleblower that just came out was like, you guys were in the lobby areas of that memorial, right? Like not the stands, but where people walk and go to and from their seats, and where they sell merch and food and snacks. You guys were selling shirts and memorabilia and signing people up to vote and registering them to vote. And your guys' focus was sales, numbers, growth. And it was his memorial. The whole thing, that whole event, was for many people their eye-opening moment for all of this, right? And that if any event, there should have been nothing sold and no work done, right? Especially his, whole book, right? Remember the Sabbath, right? The Sabbath book. That whole event should have been about pausing, resting, and reflecting on the life, legacy, and man, Charlie Kirk. It should not have been a work thing, right? And they geo-fenced everyone as well. But because that is so important to Erika and those people there still, that was the focus. It wasn't about having a true memorial and remembering the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. It was about growing and capitalizing on this opportunity, right? They couldn't pass up this opportunity to sell, to sign people up, to get people to donate, right? To sign people up to register. That would have been such a good opportunity for them to do none of those things and just focus on Charlie and his memorial. Man, can you imagine how much better that would have gone over? A lot of people in the stands were fooled by that whole event. But more and more staff at TPUSA are coming out and saying that event rubbed a lot of people in TPUSA the wrong way. Okay. And it maybe took some time for people to all leave. But as they do, all of these whistleblowers that leave TPUSA talk about the memorial as this thing, this event that they were like, ugh, this is off. This is not right.
That's what makes all of this so powerful, because your generation is living at a crossroads. And you are living in one of the most defining moments in American history. And we are all witnessing in real time the battle that is raging for.
All right. We can, I got some other things I want to show you guys. Let's, hold on. Let me show this clip.
So I agree with everything.
Let me make sure I'm sharing it on screen. I am. Where is it? There it is.
I love you, by the way. So I agree with everything that you speak about and that you talk about, except one thing. So I drove 6.5 hours to debate this one thing and to settle it. So Michael Jordan is not the GOAT, it's LeBron James. It's like a Domino's pizza, right? So if
I've met you before.
No, you haven't met me. This is the first time we've met.
I think you were at Missouri State University.
Oh, you're lying. Okay, but no,
am I right?
No, this is like a Domino's
No,
pizza.
I'm right.
You are not.
You were at Missouri State University.
You want to shoot for it? 1-on-1? We'll shoot for it.
Yeah. No, you asked about the pizza.
Ball don't lie. No, but for real, it's like a Domino's pizza. Do you want a pizza with good crust? Or do you want a pizza with good crust, good pizza sauce, good cheese? That's what LeBron James is. He's got the whole package. There's one thing that my girlfriend taught me. Longevity is the king. I might not play that role, but that's what she said.
The NBA, is it more popular today in 2025 or back in the 90s?
90s.
It's fallen off, but I think it's
Why?
like,
Who's the face of the NBA?
LeBron James.
Caitlin Clark.
Oh, Caitlin Clark, yeah. There is no argument. MJ is the GOAT.
Always. 100%. All right, let me exit out. How did this? No, I can't exit out all the way or else it's going to mess up my. Let me go to the next one. Crystal, did you send me? You did. All right, let's see how I can do this. All right. Let's see if this works, guys. All right, let me. Hold on. All right, you can see my face. All right, let's see if this works. Wait, I have a question. Do you technically own this, the rights to this music? Is this like AI created by you, Crystal? Can you message me real quick? One of the things YouTube is so crazy about is music, right? This is a 100% original song, right? Just you. It doesn't exist anywhere else, right, Crystal? Can you text me, please, or put it in the chat? Before I hit play, because I do not want, man, I just don't want my video to get jacked, you know? Where are you guys? No one's responding. Can someone in the chat? How far behind is the chat? There's no context to that. Yes, what? Mystic, yes, what? It's written for you 100%. All right, let's do this. Fingers crossed. YouTube. You guys can't hear anything. That's hilarious. Holy smokes. Well, I don't know why. Everything is man, what to do? There is nothing muted. I have no clue, man. Geez Louise. Oh, let me see. Okay, maybe this is it. Hold on. Let's try this again. So you guys just saw me dancing to nothing. Great. That'll be fun. That's a good look. Just me dancing to silence. Cool. Maybe me adding it to the screen. Let's give it a shot. But then rap Baron. You wrote it. Yeah. But you guys I know. That's not on me. If I can hear it here, you guys, I just assume. I mean, I have nothing muted on my soundboard. So like there should be, and if I can hear it playing in here like 99%, that means you guys can hear it. It's silent disco. Someone clip it. No, you do not have my permission to clip that. Yeah, you do. Yeah, go ahead. Make it good. Clip this. Jim Bear, you better get out of here, man. I'm watching you, Jim Bear. Clip this. All right, yeah, you guys can clip it. Have fun with it. But okay, I'm going to hit play again. I need you to right away tell me if you can hear this or not, okay? I'm thinking sharing it to the screen made a difference. Let's see. Yes, no? Can you guys hear it? Oh, you could hear it this time. All right, so let me start over then. Why can't, where is it? It doesn't show the bar. Like, how do I start over? All right, hold on, let me exit and come back. Hold on. All right, share this tab. All right, let me exit out of that one. This one. All right, so once again, I'm going to hit play. I shared the tab. If you guys can hear it right away, text me, please, right away. Ready, set, go. Yes, can you hear it?
I'll be the man to say you can't remember, they can't hide. The truth will always trump lies. You can sin, but it won't slide. Welcome to another side of life where you can't just hide behind the black line. Yeah, where you can't just hide behind. Yeah, whoa, yeah.
All right, and that's the part we heard from the end of the previous. All right, now let's go to the next one. Wait, which one? What number is this? 4336. All right, I'm just gonna. Maybe it's this one. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, this is a different one. All right, cool. Ready, Freddy, set, go.
I'd be the man to say you can turn around, but they can't hide. The truth will always trump lies. You can sin, but it won't slide. Welcome to another side of life where you can't just hide behind the black line. Where you can't just hide behind the black line.
Okay, let's take a vote. Oop, didn't mean to yell at you. I turned it up because someone said, turn up the volume. Turn up the volume. All right, let's go to a poll. Nope, that's the wrong one. Da-da. All right, so which song do you guys want to use for the opener? The first one I played or the second one? Okay, so choose one or two. The poll is out. All right, I voted. And then once that is done, I'll let you guys know which one I chose. Because I do like one. They're both really good. They're both really good. And everyone should say thank you to Crystal for that. Another cool little thing where we reached over 9,300. We're at 9,306 subscribers currently, which is dope. Super cool. And then let's see. I actually wanted to hop over somewhere while that poll is going. Let's drop in on a fam friend real quick.
Being a conservative does favor biblical values. I'm not denying that. But you cannot go around saying Charlie was killed, murdered for preaching the gospel. That's a lie.
Yeah, he's not a martyr, right? He was not murdered for his faith or for preaching the gospel or asked to denounce his faith. Also, hey Jay, you are gonna get a notice from YouTube saying that there's what is it? Not copyright. Maybe it's copyright. Don't strike me, okay? We're buds, right? I wonder if you're gonna know that we're showing up live. Here we are.
Neff and Andrew Kovac's mad about as far as
let's see.
Them being fed up with political violence.
Live chat.
Faked, are staged. Just stop opining on public events because your brain is too cooked by television, by movies, by memes you read on the internet to think rationally about things.
Listen,
period.
Yeah, I understand COVID. That was a whole op. I get it. The Russia hoax. I get there's reasons to be distrustful and to hold elected leaders' feet to the fire. I'm all on board with that.
Let's see.
But for real, if you are going to assume that everything,
did y'all not just hear what he said?
Oh,
let me play it one more time to see if y'all caught it.
I'm all on board with that. Russia hoax. I understand COVID. That was a whole I get it. The Russia hoax. I get there's reasons to be distrustful and to hold elected leaders' feet to the fire.
Listen. I understand COVID was a psyop. I understand that the Russian thing was a psyop. I understand that this was a psyop. This was a psyop. That was a psyop. But this time, the government is telling you the truth, people. Believe them. I understand that they put y'all through all of these different ops. I understand that, but this time, trust them. Because you have every reason to trust him. He doesn't even hear what he's saying. His damage control. I can't even say he's a great PR guy.
No, he's
his
not.
Damage
He's
control
so bad.
is terrible.
He is bad. He's so
even
bad.
when it comes to Erika, his damage control is absolutely terrible.
I'm only going to mute it because I don't want to lose the live. I want to be live with him.
That's stupid.
Let's see if he sees
Black Line Brief.
Yeah.
What's going on, Matt?
Let's see if he catches it.
They killed Kirk and blaming everyone else. Right. They deflect and blame everybody for everything.
This is Jay the Yapper.
Pointing
And
the finger at themselves and
he's
saying,
a good
how
guy.
can we help? They're a charity.
If you don't know him, you should go over, follow, subscribe, and watch. Okay.
How they can help the community. How can they serve
All
the
right.
community? How can they be favorable in the
All right,
community?
Jay. You'll probably catch it after we leave. Let's see.
Nobody likes them and they don't care. That's not a charity.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see.
We're here live. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, you didn't catch it yet.
All compromise. That's why I donated to Thomas Massey, even though I am not in Kentucky. He's the only one who is holding people accountable. These people are sick.
I texted him. He'll catch it later.
I cannot believe he just named off all of those psyops. And then
Yeah, I know. He's Andrew's the worst, dude. They all are, but all right, guys. Let's see. I already played the clip of Charlie at the end. Let me hop over to the poll. Did everyone get to vote? Did everyone get to vote? Oh, Jay was in the chat earlier? Right on, right on. I don't think he knows that I brought the whole everyone, over 220 something people. We were all watching him live for a second. I texted him. He'll catch it later. All right. Yeah, everyone say thank you to Crystal for the music opener. And then we're going to get to adding like a video portion to the opener, so then we don't have to play that, generic countdown. I'm going to end the poll, and we're at number 2 wins. That is the one I voted for. I wanted number 2. So that's cool. I'm glad I would have gone with it. Whichever one the community voted in, that's what I would have gone with. But I got to say, I'm happy that number 2 won. That's the one I wanted. It's the one I wanted. All right. Let's see. Let me exit out of that. Exit out of that. All right. Let's see. Does anyone have any comments? Let's see. Did I do this one already? Face it. The scroll. Yeah, I did that one. All right, guys. Do you guys have any more comments, questions you want to throw in before we say goodnight? If you do, I'm here for it. I'm up for it. I am. No, Jay the Yapper, Bubba Blake. Jay the Yapper with a yay. With a Y. With a yay. Jay the Yapper. He's got his own. Oh man, maybe so. Some of you probably didn't know. I did a video with him last Saturday, and then we're actually going to be doing another one coming up very soon. Let's see. Hold on. Let me go to Jay's channel. It's the Professional Yapper, Jay the Yapper. This is his chat. Wait, nope, that's my face. Holy smokes. Pulled it again. Did it again. Hold on. Hold up. I caught it. Okay, it's coming. Incoming. There it is. All right. Jay the Yapper, the Professional Yapper. All right. I had him on last week. We're going to have him on again. He is phenomenal. Super good. Let's see. Oh, he just figured it out. Let's see. Let me go. Let me hop back then. Let me go here. Let's go back to his live. Let's see.
It wasn't other people who probably wish it was them, because they probably would have actually took care of the message and gave it to the right person and did something about it. Charlie felt like he trusted Andrew Kovet once he felt like his life was in danger. And the full context around it is that he was pressured by his Jewish donors.
Yep.
He put it in the group chat with Andrew on it.
Yep.
He sent out the message saying, you left me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause.
Yep.
Later that night, next day, whatever it is, days leading up to it, he texts Andrew Kovet and Dan Flood saying they are going to kill me.
Yep.
He was not talking about no gay people, Andrew.
Nope.
He was not talking about no trannies, Andrew.
Nope.
That man's 6'5".
Yep.
Charlie Kirk is not walking around afraid of gay people.
No.
He never left a tent, from what I'm aware of. He never left a tent or proved me wrong spewing hate with gay people.
Correct. 100%.
100%. And Andrew clearly thought that it was important enough to screenshot it, right? Andrew is the original leaker.
Yes. Yes.
He's the original leaker.
Yep.
He screenshotted the text, right? I ain't gonna say being a weirdo, because it was great information.
Yeah.
But he screenshotted the text that nobody else knew he was screenshotting.
Joe Kent.
And sent it to authorities.
Yep.
After Charlie got what happened to Charlie.
All right. I'm not going to keep playing it because a lot of our community, when we leave here, they hop over there. And so after I shower and eat dinner, if he's still alive, I'm gonna show up there as well. But for those of you that came in halfway or towards the end and you didn't get a chance to hit the like and subscribe, it's how you help support the channel. And if you did not know about Jay the Yapper, head on over to his channel and give him a like and a subscribe. He is amazing. Also in the works, we got Mitch Snow coming on. Okay. We got Blake Bednar's coming on, and we got Jay the Yapper coming on. I'm also working on, what was that guy's name? Tommy Borum from the Borum Forum. He was on Didi's podcast. I'm, working behind the scenes trying to get him to come on. Matt Tusserone from TPUSA. He said yes, but he's just got a crazy busy schedule. So hopefully he's coming on. Let's see. We got Jesse Voiles. My theory on why Erika's acting face isn't facing is because it's full of Botox. I haven't heard anyone consider this. It's probably why her sad face looks odd. You're kidding, right? Are you serious? You're saying that she really is grieving Charlie, but her Botox is the thing that is making her look not grieving? Our issue isn't just with her face. I mean, I don't even know that my issue is with her face at all. It's with the lack of emotion. It's with the lack of the emotion that supposedly she's experiencing when she's saying certain words. It's a lack of that emotion matching up with the thing she's saying. That's my issue with Erika. Well, that's one of many issues. And then all the lies, right? Like, oh, he didn't send out any text. He wasn't afraid for his life. I didn't see any text. I have his phone. Oh, those? I meant, text messages. That was in Signal or whatever. Charlie, I mean, just the lies after the lies after the lies is insane that this chick has sent at all of us. Total bogus. Bogus. All right, guys. If that's it, love you guys. God bless you guys. Thank you guys for everything. And have a good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. God bless. Bye.